Hi folks, Greg Marchand here with the TechNet Sales Academy, and a quick reminder as to what your August-September national promotion through TechNet Professional is. And not only are we going to talk about what that promotion is real quickly, but I'm going to talk to you about how you can utilize that promotion to grow your business. I don't want you to think of these quick videos as sales pitches. They're not. Does Advance want to sell more brake pads? Of course they do. But look, you know what? I make my living helping you. Advance makes their living helping you. So see this as, okay, how can I have a third-party promoter, Advance, help me with my marketing and my advertising? You see, these national promotions are useful tools that you can build your business around, that you can grow your business. They affect other aspects of your business, and I want to help you pull all these pieces together so that you don't just see this as, oh, just something else I've got to do. No, it needs to become part of your regular marketing and advertising program. My clients come to me all the time and say, Greg, what should I be doing for advertising? Well, hey, you know what? You should be taking these national promotions that customers will become more aware of because there's national advertising around. There's other third-party advertising here, and there's cash back here that's not out of your pocket. Take these promotions and capitalize on them. All right, they're halfway done for you already. What's the program for August and September? It's a $20 prepaid Visa card back to the customer per axle, so they can get $20 back for the front axle if they purchase CarQuest Wherever Platinum Professional brake pads. They can get $20 back on the rear axle with the purchase of CarQuest Wherever Platinum Professional brake pads. And here's the great news. If they are a Synchrony Car Care customer, they can receive another $60 cash back for a total of $100 cash back. Now, you don't have to pay for that. That's not out of your pocket. This is a cashback program you can offer your customer. Now, some of you are thinking, yeah, what's $100? My customers don't care about $100. You know what? You're wrong. They do. Because $100 on a prepaid Visa card, look, that's part of a dinner out. It helps with Christmas. It helps with having to buy a birthday present. Maybe it helps just with a car repair. Okay, so don't underestimate the value of $100 cash back to your customer. Use this program. Now, how would you use the program? I'll tell you right now what I would do if I were you. I would create a free brake inspection program. Easy, easy, easy. I know you hate free. I get it. Calm down for a second and just listen. Customers love free, right? Now, you love free because you go to the grocery store and the guy's standing there with the crackers and the dip and passing those out. You're taking some of that, aren't you? You love free, your customers love free. But here's how you use free to your advantage as a TechNet Professional repair shop. You advertise a free brake inspection. You put it in your print ads. You put it on your website. You put promotional material in your waiting room. You use the promotional material that TechNet sent you about the brake promotion. You let people know that you're the home of the free brake inspection. Now, when they come in and they ask about the free brake inspection, or you can offer up a free brake inspection should the opportunity present, that's your door into the paid part. Okay? All your free brake inspection is this. And you're going to use this. You're going to create your form, either electronically or paper, whatever you're using. Your free brake inspection is a visual inspection. All right, it's just a visual inspection. We're going to put eyes on the car. We're going to see the best we can see without pulling the wheels off of it, and maybe we do a dip strip in the brake fluid reservoir. All right, but it gives us enough information that we then go back to the customer and we can sell them the full paid brake inspection. The full paid brake inspection is whatever you charge for it, $49.95, $89.95, whatever it may be. So the free portion just gets our eyes on the automobile. The paid portion is because, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we see something that we think warrants further inspection. So for us to do the further inspection, we need to remove the wheels, remove the calipers, remove the rear drums if that's the case. Let's hope not. And take some measurements. We'll get you some photos of what's going on and do a more thorough inspection. It's going to cost you $89.95. Can we go ahead and do that? Okay, so we move from free brake inspection into a paid brake inspection. Now, the paid brake inspection is a full-on brake inspection. All right, so use your regular brake inspection form for that. Now, once the technician is finished with a full-on brake inspection and you build the estimate, now you've got a selling tool if you combine this TechNet Professional National Wherever brake pad promotion for August and September. Now you can go back to the customer and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I've got good news. Our technician has completed the full brake inspection. They've identified what the concern is, and we know exactly what we need to do to get your car safe on the highway again. Here's what we need. Here's what we're recommending. And the good news is today, this month only, I can offer you $20 cash back on the front axle and the rear axle. Oh, and by the way, if you're a Synchrony Car Care customer, I can offer you another $60 cash back. So that's a total of $100 off this estimate. If you want to go ahead with these CarQuest Wherever Platinum Professional brake pads and you're a Synchrony Car Care customer. And by the way, that paid inspection, if you agree to do the work with us today, then I will take that $89.95 off your bill as well. So that's a total of almost $200 off of this estimate if you'd like us to go ahead and get started on this work. Well, boom, who's going to say no to that? Oh, and by the way, we have a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty that we'll offer you with this free of charge just for having the work done with us today. Whoa, oh, and the roadside assistance program? Folks, nobody's going to say no to this. So take this promotion, combine it with the warranty, combine it with the roadside assistance, combine it with the high level of customer service you already have, and think about how you're going to better sell. Now, what you've got to do is you've got to make sure that your counter staff understands what the promotion is, understands what the promotional material is, how they can combine it, that it's $20 per axle and then the $60 for the Synchrony Car Care customers. All right, make sure they understand the nationwide warranty, but create a free brake inspection program that leads to the paid brake inspection that leads to a sale in combination with this cashback promotion. You see how this can help grow your business? It's a tremendous program. Now, in terms of getting the money, customers can apply online or they can apply via mail. They go to the TechNetProfessional.com website, go to the promotions tab, fill out the claim form, submit the claim, and then upload the documents that they want. They're going to want to see at the very least a copy of the invoice, right? And they're going to do the same thing if they want to mail this in. They fill the form out on TechNetProfessional.com. And listen, you know what I do? While I'm standing there at the counter with the customer, I take them right online, right there at the counter. I help them fill that out. I help them upload that document. I just provided a higher level of customer service. I guaranteed they're going to get their money in 6 to 8 weeks. And they went, how easy was that? They're going to love you for it. So help them get the money as well as help them save the money. If you need more information, a couple things you can do. Go to TechNetProfessional.com, check out the national promotion calendar. So not only can you see what this one is, but you can see anything additional and anything that's upcoming so that you can plan your advertising and marketing around it. Here's the other thing I want you to do. I want you to go to the Service Sales Academy app, and I want you to go to the sales training link on that app. And on May 23rd, we did a program on selling brakes and brake components. Go check out that video. Get your people dialed into selling brakes and brake components so that you can take full advantage of this promotion. All right, and then don't forget to use the TechNet website to show your customers how they can claim their money, show them what the national warranty looks like, show them how they can go check it out themselves so that they can better understand it. It'll help you as well as help them. All right, beginning today, you've got 2 months. And if you're watching this in August, you've got less than 2 months to utilize this program. I want you to see the program as part of your advertising and learn to take these promotions and build your programs around it. The beauty is the promotion may change, but the logistics around using these programs are going to become second nature to you, and your program will get better and better and better. Get your inspections in place. Learn your sales tools, check out that video, May 23rd, use the Service Sales Academy app, and use this promotion to sell brake jobs and grow your business, folks. Okay? Promotions tab on the website, check it out, TechNetProfessional.com, promotions, go there, show your customers how they can get their money, help them fill it out, and use these promotions. All right? Thanks for watching, folks. Keep up the great work. Hi folks, Greg Marchand here with the TechNet Sales Academy. Welcome to another episode of the Virtual Instructor-Led Training Program. In this episode, we're going to continue talking about the courtesy inspection, and this is titled Conducting a Courtesy Inspection. This portion's for the service advisor. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, The courtesy inspection, that's the domain of the technician. No, hold on. Remember what we said in the presenting the courtesy inspection program? This is your best relationship building tool. It's an awesome communication tool, and it's one of the best money-making tools for your organization. Make sure, if you haven't watched it, make sure you watch Presenting the Courtesy Inspection. All right, now, some of the programs would be the same, but there's some really important stuff in Presenting the Courtesy Inspection, so make sure you go check that out. I want to talk about process real quick. The service advisor role today in 2017 is changing significantly with the advent of electronic inspections. And when I say service advisor role, your role is still much the same, except that the courtesy inspection is becoming something that we're building all shop processes around. And the reason is that courtesy inspection electronically is integral to the write-up process, to the sales process, to the delivery process, and the dispatch process with the technicians. So now all of a sudden, the courtesy inspection is more than just a piece of paper that we're handing the technician saying, here, make sure you fill this out. Now, we can force the technician through electronic process on the tablet to do the courtesy inspection. And we get alerted when the courtesy inspection is done, and we can begin to build the estimates as soon as we see those alerts. And now all of a sudden, it is driving process. Historically, it was considered the domain of the technician, but now it's really the domain of everybody, the technician and the service counter. You, as a service advisor, have to manage the process from beginning to end. And that's a little bit different. Before, look, back in the day when I was writing service, we would just have to make darn sure that the service advisor, the technician had the form in his or her hand and that they filled it out. Well, now I've got to manage that as a key selling tool. I've got to manage that as part of the dispatch process. I've got to manage that as part of the follow-up process. And really, I have to find and make improvements to that process because it affects everything we do. It affects our ability to be efficient. It affects our ability to be productive. It affects our ability to sell. And this means everything from the technicians actually performing it, to the technicians taking photos, to my ability to text that to customers, to email that to customers, to pick up the phone and sell with it, in combination with my electronic tools. So that service advisor role with the courtesy inspection has changed significantly over the years. The success that you'll experience with the courtesy inspection is really up to you. It really is. How effective these inspections are going to be, it's all up to you. You've got to be consistent with it. And the service counter creates the consistency. It really, really does. You can't blame the technicians. I have taught classes on courtesy inspections where the service advisors all blame the technicians for the ineffectiveness, for not doing enough of them or not doing them well enough. I have been in the same class where the technicians blamed everything on the service advisor. Well, look, it does take both of you. But the service counter has to drive the process. The effectiveness will depend on how well you sell the usefulness of the courtesy inspection. When I say sell it, I don't mean just to the customer. I mean sell it to the people you work with. You've got to make sure everybody recognizes why we use it. Because how well the technicians conduct that courtesy inspection is really going to be up to your feedback. You've got to communicate not only with the customer, but with the technician as well. Okay, so success with this is really up to you. Now, the technician process, and in another program we're going to talk about the process, and that will be titled the courtesy inspection, the courtesy inspection, the technician, all right? And so watch that if you want more detail on technician process or how to train process. The technician process is this. I expect them to go out to get the car and do a walk around. I expect them to walk around in a counterclockwise manner because it's most efficient. From the passenger side, around the back of the car to the driver's side. They get in the car, they do their in-the-car inspection. It takes 30 seconds to walk around, 60 seconds maybe if they find something. They get in the car, they can do the in-the-car inspection in less than 30 seconds. So now we're a minute and a half into the inspection. And we've got a third of the process done. It's easy. I expect them to take a test drive and then they have it in the bay process. Once they get it in the bay, they open the hood, they do a visual inspection, they pop the air cleaner, test the battery, put it up in the air to begin the service work, and they do more inspections underneath. Tread depth, tire pressure, visual inspection of the exhaust, leaks, belts, hoses, things like that. That's their process. What's your process? Your process is to first introduce the courtesy inspection. Now, we covered this briefly in presenting the courtesy inspection, because this is the flow. You've got to introduce it. It's really, really important for you to introduce it to the customer so they know what's coming. Then you've got to dispatch the repair order to the technician. Now, electronically, if you're using electronic dispatch, the courtesy inspection is automatic. It's there. It's something that has to be done. It pops up and it essentially forces the technician to do it. If you're using paper repair orders, but paper inspections, then you may have to remind the technician, or you may have to hand them the paper inspection and say, make sure I get that. Now, look, if you're consistent enough with it, then technicians get really used to it, don't they? And some of you are thinking, yeah, but Greg, it's not even a problem in my shop. Well, maybe you're a new hire and you're watching this and you're wondering why they're always doing it. Because it's part of the sales process. That's why. You're gonna get the inspection back from the technician, and you're gonna ask questions of he or she relating to the 3 C's of the technician. I'm sorry, relating to the 3 C's, you're gonna ask questions of the technician relating to the 3 C's. So once you do that, hopefully you have photos if you're using electronic. If not, you may not have photos, and that's fine too. But you've got a better understanding so that now you can go sell, right? But you can't sell until you prepare the estimate. And in the presenting the courtesy inspection program, I said to you, don't put an estimate out there. Don't present the inspection without having the estimate done. And don't include discounts on the estimate, right? So go back and watch that program. Once you have the estimate, you're going to present the courtesy inspection to the customer. And then eventually the last part of your process is you're going to use this courtesy inspection in your follow-up processes. Let's go through these real quick. The introduction. How well you introduce it or remind the customer of why you use it, that it's part of your responsibility and letting them know what's going on with their automobile will go a long way in setting you up for selling success. So make sure you introduce it to them so it builds the expectation, they know what's coming. It helps them understand why you do this, that you're not doing it just to sell to them, but you're doing it as part of your organizational responsibility to making sure that their vehicle is safe, that their vehicle is operating as designed, and that they understand what's coming up and what maybe they need to budget for or plan for. And if they understand that, far fewer people will reject it. I suggest that 1% of customers reject the courtesy inspection, say, no thank you, I don't want it. Well, they do that out of fear. They do that because they feel like you're just going to use it as a hammer to hit them over the head with. They've had a bad experience with it in the past. If you can help them understand why you use it, then you've set up the rest of the process and they won't reject it. If you get them used to seeing it every time they don't need something, they won't learn to hate it, or they'll begin to understand it's not something to hate. I have a lot of my clients put in the waiting room an explanation as to why you offer a free courtesy inspection, so that customers can see that and begin to understand, you know what, they're not just using this to beat me up, they're not just using this to take a lot of money from me, but they're using it because they really care about me. And if you put it on your website and you put you put something on the wall or on the coffee table or even in a stand-up frame on the service counter, they'll start to realize, you know what, this is a service that they provide. It's free, it's just a service. They're not going to beat me up over it. So the introduction of the process can also keep people from getting disgruntled, right? I think in the presenting program, I used the example of the customer comes in for the free tire rotation, they look out there and they see their hood open and they freak out. What are you doing? Well, it's because they don't understand your process and why you do it. So the introduction is really, really important because it calms the customer down, it sets you up for selling success, and it really sets the rest of the process up. Introduce it each time so that there are no surprises. Because look, how many times do they visit you? Twice, 3 times a year if you're really lucky today? Look, it used to be 4 or 5 times a year. It's not now. they might only show up once. So introduce the courtesy inspection to them each and every time, even if they're a regular customer. If you have rapport and they are a regular customer, then you can say to them, remember our service process here. Remember that we're going to do this courtesy inspection for you, and we'll email it to you. We'll send a text to you. It's our duty to inform you of what's going on, and since we don't get to see you very often, unfortunately, then we want to make sure that we get eyes on the car and let you know what's going on with it, and hopefully everything will come back. I'll be green. I'll just say keep up the great work. Show the customer what they can expect. If it's a paper form, have an example of the paper form there so that they can see it and be reminded. If it's an electronic, if you're using electronic inspection forms, then show them what the email looks like. Show them what the text format looks like so that they can, because look, today they'll look at that and go, wow, that's pretty cool, right? I see it a lot. So do that, put it out there, show them what to expect, set this up. Now, there is an alternative process if you're using the electronic inspection form. I like this. Unfortunately, it really depends on the layout of your waiting area, layout of your write-up area. But if you can meet the customer at the car with a tablet, meet them, if you have a drive-through, which I don't know any independent shop that does right now, but if you're lucky enough to have a drive-through, or you're lucky enough to have a layout, a building layout, where you can see the customer coming and you can meet them at the automobile with your tablet, you can really set yourself up well. You do the walk around. You've got the tablet, you've got the inspection sheet, you do the walk around. It will impress the heck out of them that you're using this technology for one, but you get to point out the condition of the tires. You get to point out excessive brake dust on a wheel or two. You get to point out the condition of the wipers. You get to pick up cues as to, do they have kids? Are the kids into sports? Are they obviously people that like to travel? Whatever it might be. It gives you little cues that you can use during your sales conversation with them. So it's a great process if you have the technology and the building layout to accomplish that. So think about that, all right? I've seen it work very, very, very well. But again, if you got an L counter and you got to stumble around each other to get out from behind the counter, then it's just not going to work. So again, as it says, it only works with certain write-up area layouts. It does require initiative on your part as well. You've got to be proactive. You've got to say, hey, you know what? This is a great idea. This is how I'm going to do this, and go do it. And can you do it with paper? You can do it with paper. It works best with electronic. It makes a huge impression. And then you pass the inspection off to the technician electronically. Can you pass a piece of paper off? Yes, you can. So it'll work with either. It just has more of an impact with electronic inspections. When it goes out to the technician, hopefully technicians in the habit of doing these inspections. I mean, really it is how they make their money. They all don't understand this, but it is how they make their money. Remind the technicians on a regular basis as to why you use these inspections. Encourage them to be thorough. The pencil whipping phenomena where the technicians just draw a line down through the green boxes on the paper inspection forms, it's been reduced with electronic inspection, but it has not gone away. Now they just check, and I've seen some electronic inspections form where they had a check all box, and I'm like, get rid of that, please. Call the company up and tell them get rid of the check all box. They don't understand this process. But if you feel like they're cherry picking, or you feel like they're kind of pencil whipping, either electronic or paper, ask questions. Ask questions and require photos. And if you require photos and remind them to take photos, it does have the effect of reducing some of the pencil whipping and the cherry picking, and they begin to think a little bit differently. Just the act of taking the photo forces them to think a little bit differently. It gets them out of old habits. And technicians are very habitual, which is a good thing when it comes to diagnosis and performing maintenance and things. It's what makes them productive and efficient. But when it comes to courtesy inspections, it's not always the best thing. So encourage them to be thorough. Encourage them to take pictures if you're using electronic inspection forms. Ask questions. Why do we need to do the timing belt again? Are you sure that it hasn't been done before? Why do we need to take care of this oil leak? What caused this oil leak? Use those 3 C's, right? Because it's all about communication. And if you're not getting the quantity or quality of inspections that you expect or that you need as a shop, then communication is the problem. The technicians don't understand how it's being used, why we're using it, what a fantastic tool it is. they're maybe not getting feedback about what they're doing well and what they're not doing well. And so because it's not being talked about, it just kind of gets passed off. Your ability to ask questions regarding, how do we prioritize these repairs is really crucial, because it'll get them thinking like you. And the more questions you ask and the more you tell them why you're asking the question, the more they will give you what you need before you ask. So ask the questions, let them know why you're asking the questions. Even if you have to use self-deprecating humor, I would go out and I say, dude, I am dumber than a box of bricks. Tell me what the heck you're talking about here. Well, yeah, I knew because I was a technician. But either way, they'd be like, yeah, all right, you big dummy. And then they'd, tell me, well, fine. I didn't care. I just needed my answers, right? Requesting more pictures helps keep those technicians from cherry picking, from pencil whipping. It's all part of the communication. So use it, get better at it, ask the questions, use the 3 C's. We went through this in the presenting program. All right, so I'm just going to go real quick here, but the complaint is either what the customer brought the vehicle in for or what they might notice because of a certain condition. All right, that would be something a technician found. So tell me, Johnny Technician, what the customer might notice that would clue them in that this was a problem. The cause, why it happened, the correction, what needs to be done to fix it. And you can include how much it'll cost in that. Use the 3 C's. But look, after your sales process, give the technicians feedback. Let them know how the sale went. Let them know why it went that way, whether it was great because of the information they provided or because you're a rock star, or whether it didn't go so well because, shoot, dude, you know what? I didn't have enough photos this time. I think if I'd had more photos or a better photo or a better explanation or whatever it may, maybe it could have gone better next time. So I'll work on getting better at my sales process. Can you try to get me better photos next time? Let them know what would help you next time. All right, they'll listen, because look, at the end of the day, you're all in this together. And the more you work together like this, the less of a divide there'll be between service advisors and technicians, and the better the sales process will get, and the more money they'll make, and then it'll feed on itself. Ask the technician for feedback on what would help them do a better job. Look, I will never forget a situation where they would just have a horrible time with courtesy inspections. And it turns out the technicians hated the darn forms, and they were using paper. They hated the forms because there wasn't enough room for notes on it, and half the stuff on the form didn't exist on today's cars. We changed the form and we tripled the number of courtesy inspections that were being done. So ask them, get their feedback. They do it every day. They do it all the time. They're not going to tell you. They won't tell you unless you set the situation up for them to feel like they can tell you, and that's asking questions of them. And then you're going to use this as a follow-up tool. Based on customer input while you're selling to the customer, you may need to pre-schedule the next appointment, and I strongly encourage that. You may want to make notes on that courtesy inspection regarding the next appointment and what we said today, so that you can document that, so that maybe you know when to call for follow-up or when to make that next appointment. Provide a synopsis of that courtesy inspection in an email, over the phone, or in regular mail as follow-up. Remind them. Call them 2 weeks later. Call them a week later. Call them 6 weeks later, and remind them, Mrs. Smith, I just realized that remember that courtesy inspection we talked about? We had talked about setting up an appointment for you for the transmission service and the tire rotation. Is that something you'd be ready to do right now? Can I make you an appointment, say, next week or the week after? And use it as follow-up. Use the courtesy inspection, the previous one, and those notes and those recommendations for the next visit, right? When you see the customer makes an appointment and you go through your tomorrow's appointments before you leave today, pull up their history real quick. Get in your head, oh yeah, you know what? That courtesy inspection, they didn't do all that stuff. So we need to have that conversation when they show up, when they drop their car off. Use this information to set up your sale next time, and use it to follow up with the customer and thank them for their business. Regarding all this, a note on notes. I see shops that are great at taking notes, but I got to remind them that shorter is better. And this is for technicians too. Some technicians will write a book. We don't need a book, folks. We don't need a book. There is such a thing as too many notes. I'm sorry. I appreciate the effort. I really, really do. But shorter More succinct notes are better for the customer, they're better for you, they're better for your efficiency, they're better for the overall production of the shop, and they're better for communication. Remember to use common language. Make sure anybody who reads those notes can understand it, because you know what? You may not be doing the follow-up. I recognize that. It could be somebody else that's not connected to the customer that's doing the follow-up, and they look at those notes, and if they don't understand the notes, then the conversation gets awkward fast, because all they can do is read the notes. And as soon as somebody asks us questions, says, I don't know. So make sure that anyone can understand it. Your customers will appreciate it, and if somebody other than you is doing follow-up, they will appreciate it as well. Try to keep your notes short. What I think of is the old exercise from English class way back when, all right? Or maybe it wasn't so way back when for you, where the teacher would have you write a story or write a whatever, and then hand it back to you and go, all right, now write the same thing, only use half the number of words. And then they do that 2 or 3 times to you. Look, I'm guilty of it too. I have to do the same thing. Even when I write these presentations, I'll put too many words on there. And I'll have to go back and I'll have to try to say the same thing with fewer words. That's what I want you to do. Because when you have to transcribe these from the courtesy inspection to your service management system, you'll thank me for it. All right? Shorter is better. There is such a thing as too many notes. And use the common language. This courtesy inspection process, your service advisor piece of it, is really, really important because it's something that everything else gets built around. Encourage feedback from the technicians, implement their suggestions. It'll improve your efficiency, it'll improve shop productivity. The customers will thank you, you'll thank you, the boss will thank you. Sell the inspection of the customer first is the first part of the process. That's the introduction part. Perform the inspection and then use that courtesy inspection to sell the work to the customer, inform the customer of the great condition their automobile is in, bring them peace of mind. Hey, you're doing a great job, Mrs. Smith, on taking care of your automobile. That's huge peace of mind to a customer. And then use it to follow up with the customer. All right, folks, go back, check out the Presenting the Courtesy Inspection video, and until next time, keep up the great work and never stop learning.